Hello Yu-Gi-Oh players and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! Business Casual. I'm your host, the RJBZ. I want to do a quick tech talk for you guys before I head off to Dice Age Games, where I'm hopefully going to get y'all an Inzektor deck profile for Techs and Decks Week. But let's get down to business. The two cards that I want to talk about today, kind of in a compare and contrast format, are Snowman Eater and Fossil Dynapatchocephalo. So both of these cards serve fairly similar functions. However, they have a couple of advantages and disadvantages to them that are different between the two cards. And deciding which one of them to run, if you want to run any of them at all, comes down to really what decks you have the most issues with, and of course which deck you are running. So one of the things I like about Fossil Dyna is it's not really a double-edged sword, but it is. In that it can be used for two functions. Both, you can put it on the board and block off decks like Frog Monarchs, Hieratics, Artifacts. This card is ridiculous against Artifacts. You normal summon it against them. If you can protect the damn thing, they lose. It's just one of those cards. So Artifacts have a major issue with the card playing offensively. So if you put that on the board, it is an offensive card to take down Artifacts. But if you can also play it defensively against a deck that has a propensity to OTK, something like Karakuri Girgia. If they go into their battle phase, they run down that Fossil Dyna, you blast their asses off the board, and you can also do that with something like Artifacts. But that's where Snowman Eater comes in. So Snowman Eater has also has a similar effect in that if your opponent runs it down or attempts to run it down, it'll pop a monster. However, the thing about Snowman Eater is A, it doesn't turn into a problem for you if you play something like Artifacts or Dragon Rulers or something of the sort. So it doesn't have that kind of backlash. However, it also has the ability to take down the Bujin deck. One thing I really like about it is that if it's in the damage step, your opponent can't use, they can't hair, they can't turtle, they could crane, but they'd still lose the Yamato, so it'd be a waste of their crane. So if they run a Yamato into your Snowman Eater, they can't use any of their big stuff during the damage step, and very, very few Bujin players are running Forbidden Dress over Forbidden Lance. So the Snowman Eater takes down the Yamato, and you proceed to begin making pushes from there because you've taken out their Yamato, and so they cannot begin loading the graveyard again. They will have probably the Mikazuchi in their hand, but you never know. So Snowman Eater is something I really like. It's also nice because it's a debris target, so any deck that's running Debris Dragon gets an extra target. Gives you an excuse in a Mermail deck if you want to run it to run Gungnir and Debris Dragon. That's a really bad idea, but you could if you wanted. I just like it for taking down cards that are really problematic. Like if you're playing any level 5 or higher dependent deck, you can run the Snowman Eater or the Fossil Dyna in order to take down Ophion. They just both have their different uses depending on the deck you're playing and the decks you have trouble with. I highly recommend, at the least, most decks are going to end up using Fossil Dyna. I'm actually using both of them in my Dragon Ruler deck right now because they're both targets for, or fuel for one of the Dragon Rulers, and they both have different uses. Fossil Dyna, you can just normal summon it against other decks like Artifacts and take them down, and then of course Snowman Eater helps me out with Yamato and Ophion. So those cards are really interesting. They used to be used a whole lot, but they've been fairly ignored recently, and they actually have a lot of synergy with a lot of decks, especially with the large amount of back row that's going into this format, so it'll be fairly easy to protect something like Fossil Dyna. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, let me know why in the comment section below, and of course subscribe for more decks discussion, analysis, and general Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. Meanwhile, thank you guys for watching Yu-Gi-Oh! and Business Casual. I am your host, the RJB0, and I got a jet. See you guys.